And we are back. Welcome back to the prediction series on the channel, where today we are focusing on all things EFL Cup. And a happy Halloween to any of you that are celebrating for it. I've decided not to dress up for today's video, but make sure you head over to the SO99 gaming channel this evening, where I will be dressed up for the video in that. However, like I say, it is the Carabao Cup, it is the EFL Cup, it is the League Cup, whatever you want to call it, but it is the round of the last 16, the fourth round. There are 8 fixtures over the course of the next 2 days. Normally I would break that up into 2 separate videos. However, there are only 2 games tonight, and then there are 6 games tomorrow. So we're going to cover all 8 games in today's video. Now, if you haven't done so already, before we get started, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy these prediction series, and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. The subscriber count is continuing to fly up by the week at the moment, and I cannot thank you enough for all of that. Let's get into all of this evening's actions before we get on to tomorrow's. And we start off with Exeter City taking on Middlesbrough in the first of the 2 games tonight. And quite frankly, this realistically should only go one way, even if Middlesbrough do make changes. They have had a massive turnaround in form since the last round, only losing 1 game, which was actually this weekend to Stoke City. Exeter, on the other hand, are having a real rough time of it at the moment, losing left, right and centre. They haven't won any of their last 5 games, and they've only actually scored 1 goal in those last 5 games, which, however, was again this weekend. But like I say, I have to look at the form guide and say that Middlesbrough are a much better team than Exeter anyway, even if they do make changes, and Exeter are way off form. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Middlesbrough in this evening's opener. The other game has a little bit of spice about it. It is Mansfield Town taking on Port Vale, which is a repeat of the League 2 playoff final from 2022. So not last season, the season before. But Port Vale won that game 3-0, which now sees them in League 1. And after another unsuccessful season, Mansfield remain in League 2. However, as things stand right now, Port Vale, like with Exeter, are languishing near the bottom of League 1, whereas Mansfield are undefeated in their last 19 games. And this is a prime opportunity to get a small amount of revenge over Port Vale for keeping them down in League 2. And that is what I'm going to predict for in this evening's game. I'm going to go for the revenge of Mansfield. I'm going to go for 2-1. There's only like 6 or 7 places separating them now, because Port Vale are so close to the bottom and Mansfield are so close to the top of the respective leagues. And I just think Mansfield are going to edge it on the night. On to tomorrow night's action, and a return of all of the Premier League teams taking part in the remainder of this tournament. And we kick off with the earliest of the kickoffs tomorrow. They're kind of scattered around a little bit, but the 7:30 kickoff between West Ham and Arsenal. Now, again, both of these sides tend to make wholesale changes when it comes to the EFL Cup, looking at the fixtures they've already played in the tournament and previous seasons. So we're kind of sort of judging these based on what we think, who's got a better reserve team. Are any of these sides going to take the risk of playing some more of their full first team players? I think that Arsenal really need to be targeting this as a trophy for this season. With Manchester City knocked out by Newcastle in the last round, this is arguably Arsenal's best shot at a trophy. They may still think the Premier League, but for me, with City out of a cup competition, this is Arsenal's opportunity to win a major trophy this season. And I think they're going to beat West Ham tonight. I think West Ham have kind of gone off the boil in the last couple of weeks. Heavy defeat to Aston Villa, then a poor performance against Olympiacos, and then, of course, losing at home to Everton. This would make it 4 losses in a row, and that is what I'm going to go for. And I'm going to go for 2-0 to Arsenal this evening. On to the 7:45 kickoffs. We've got 4 of those, and it's another all-Premier League tie. It is Bournemouth taking on Liverpool. And again, looking at what happened in the last round, it seems that both sides will make full wholesale changes to their teams tonight. And obviously, before we continue, I have to say, of course, we are thinking of Luis Diaz with all of the drama going on with him at the moment, with his parents being kidnapped. And I'm sure Liverpool will once again be dedicating their performance to him and his family this evening. I do think Liverpool come out on top in this one. As much as a Manchester United fan, I would love to see Liverpool crash out of this trophy this evening. I think no matter what side Bournemouth put out, Liverpool will be too strong overall. And I'm going to go for the bog standard result for Liverpool, which is a 3-1 win to Liverpool. Next up, it is Chelsea taking on Blackburn. And if there were two sides in the country that were more flip-floppy in form at the moment, it would actually be Chelsea and Blackburn. You just don't know what you're going to get from either of these teams at the moment. Sometimes it's a good performance and a win, sometimes it's a good performance and a loss, and sometimes it's a bad performance and a loss. And like I say, looking at the form guides of these two sides, their results are absolutely all over the place. So then it just sort of comes down to what do you think is going to happen on the night? What sort of sides are these teams going to put out? Blackburn made some changes for their last game. Chelsea pretty much changed their whole team. However, with the amount of injuries Chelsea now have at the moment, they may be forced into playing a stronger team than they would like. So overall, I think we can all expect Chelsea to get the win tonight. And I'm going to go, or tomorrow night, should I say, and I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. Might be a little bit disrespectful to Blackburn. I could potentially see them getting a goal, but I don't know. I feel like with Chelsea's options at the back, it's going to be a very strong defence, and I think they're going to keep Blackburn at bay. Next up, it is the Sean Dyche derby once again. It is Everton taking on Burnley off the back of that incredible win away at West Ham. Now, in the last round, Everton basically played their full first team, and Burnley made a full change to their starting lineup, although Burnley were playing a relatively poor side at the time. So it'll be interesting to see what Vincent Kompany does this evening. Burnley, of course, really struggling in the Premier League at the moment. Will be looking to probably build some confidence for the rest of the Premier League if they can get a result against Everton tonight. So it does make it a little bit more interesting about what sort of side he could put out. But I still think, just the way that the two sides have played so far this season, Everton have to be the favourites, especially at home. And I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Everton in tomorrow night's game. The last of the 7:45 kickoffs sees Ipswich Town taking on Fulham, and this is possibly the most intriguing tie of the night. Now, in the last round, I predicted Ipswich to win 3-2 at home to Wolves, and not only was that exactly the scoreline, but Ipswich came from 2-0 down to beat Wolves 3-2. So a very good night for them. I think this is going to be a very, very close one. Fulham are a very solid side defensively. They proved that again this weekend. But Ipswich are absolutely scoring goals for fun in the Championship, coming straight up from League One and challenging for promotion in the Championship as well. And given the fact that Fulham are expected to make changes tonight, in particular the goalkeeper, Bernd Leno, who I think is the major reason why they have been so good defensively this season. I think they've conceded a lot less than they would have if a different goalkeeper was in goal. I really, really want to go for Ipswich again. However, I just think Fulham are going to score goals at the other end because Ipswich are still leaking goals themselves in the Championship. So what I'm going to go for is a 2-2 draw. And then a reminder to all of you guys that in the Carabao Cup, it is no extra time. It is straight to penalties. So in that regard, it's then just a lottery. I'm not going to sit here and say which side I think is going to win on penalties because, quite frankly, I don't know what players are going to be on the pitch. So it's just a lottery at that point. So I'm just going to leave my prediction as a 2-2 draw. And as a casual football fan, I'll say come on the Championship side to win on penalties just because it looks good for the competition if Championship sides are beating Premier League sides. And then finally, the late kickoff of tomorrow evening sees Manchester United taking on Newcastle off the back of the absolute humiliation from Manchester City at the weekend. However, Newcastle themselves have not been themselves over the past 7 days, losing at home to Borussia Dortmund and then drawing with Wolves at the weekend. So this isn't a foregone conclusion. I can't just sit here and say, well, United aren't going to do anything. Newcastle are just going to roll us over. That very well might be the case. But again, in the last round against Manchester City, Eddie Howe basically changed the entire team. So Newcastle aren't going to be at their full strength going into the game at Old Trafford. And genuinely my worry as a Manchester United fan is that Erik ten Hag is going to near enough play the same team and keep playing the superstars. This is the best possible opportunity to bring the likes of Hannibal into the starting lineup, bring the likes of Mainu into the starting lineup, play Garnacho from the start, play Pellistri from the start. Give the youngsters the opportunity to express themselves in a competition. Yes, we're the defending champions. Yes, we want to win it again. But I think as Manchester United fans right now, we just want to see something a little bit different. So I hope Erik ten Hag does that, but I'm not convinced he's going to do so. I think he's going to continue to play the superstars. But if Newcastle are going to make the changes that I think they're going to make, I would still expect Manchester United to get the win. So I'm going to go for a very, very, very cautious 2-1 to Manchester United. And that might just be with my Manchester United hat on. But I think whatever team United put out, if Newcastle make the changes that they're expected to make, we should win. So I'm going to go for that Manchester United win. Let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments as always. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back tomorrow evening with my post-match reaction to that Manchester United-Newcastle game. I'll see you then.